Good morning. It's Friday, 25th of October, 2024. This morning, I'd like to talk about two things. Firstly, I wish to highlight this comment by Norwegian Wood, obviously a pseudonym. Sometimes people wish to remain anonymous. That's fine. Not an issue for me at all. Although, if people write stupid comments and they're obviously trolls, and then when I see their profile, they haven't uploaded any videos, then I find it's likely that they are paid troll by political parties or whatever, cyber troopers, that kind of thing, and I will hide them from the video. So if they do comment, hide them from the channel. So if they do comment, they're the only person who can read their own comments, and nobody else can. So they can short sendiri all they want. Okay, but that is not the case with Norwegian Wood. He or she wrote a long post, which is difficult for me to read, which comes to the second point that I want to make. And the point is, as a visually impaired person, it's very difficult for me to read stuff, and primarily to read and recite aloud, okay? For example, in the previous video, which I did about the ingredients for making roti canai, reading the labels on the box, I noticed I made a lot of mistakes, primarily because I couldn't see very well. Okay, so if you write a long comment like this in one paragraph, and YouTube is a bit chachat, it only allows the font to be enlarged to a certain point, and then that's it, just like Telegram. Whereas WhatsApp, I can go up to 310% enlargement for me to see. That's the two downsides of YouTube and Telegram. In any case, if you put everything in one paragraph, it's very easy for me to get lost, and because the size is very small, very difficult for me to read. So in order to read, what I need to do, I just want to explain this so that people understand. I'm not making excuses, but this is the reality that people with low vision experience. So in order to read it, I had to make a screenshot and then go to photos, edit out anything which has numbers, because the OCR feature of Apple phones is that they will consider numbers as phone numbers and will try to call those numbers, or if it's obviously URL, they'll try to open URL for you, and I can't copy the text, so I have to edit out the top and bottom so that the date and time and all that are not there. And then I use their OCR feature, which is the bottom right squarish icon. Click on it, do copy all, and then paste it into Pages, which is the Apple equivalent of Microsoft Word. And then in Pages, I have to increase the font size to 24, put the font in white, and put the background in black. The reason I have to do the background black is because of my eye condition. I have something called photophobia. Photophobia is a bit of a misnomer. It doesn't mean fear of light. It means hypersensitivity to light. Fear of light is called heliophobia. Okay, and that's because I have MYDRIASIS, which is the permanent dilation of the pupils, which is caused by my central serous CHORIORETINOPATHY. I've done videos about this. Hardly anybody watch, but if you do want to understand, you can go to the channel. The videos about CSC. Anyway, having increased the font size to 24, then I have to start making paragraphs, because ideally 3 or 4 lines per paragraph, so that I don't get lost in trying to read, even having enlarged it to 24-point size. But if I want to make a video out of the text, then I have to increase the font size even larger to 36, so that it's easier for you to read it in a video. So that's what I have to do in order to read this comment, and I'd like you to read it for yourself. I can't make a commentary on the comments because I can't read it and give my comments at the same time, because I just have difficulty reading, even if I enlarge it big and all that, because I have to start scrolling, and it's just very, very troublesome. Now, for shorter comments, I just use another feature on my iPad, which is the magnifier or the zoom function, and then I can zoom in. And I also use the zoom when I want to type a reply in the comments. Okay, so it makes it big. I can see what I'm typing. And even though I do all these, some typos do escape my attention, and it turns out. And then one previous video, I actually put the wrong video description, and I had to replace it with the correct one. So for a few minutes or hours, it had the wrong video description. So if anybody noticed, I beg your forgiveness for that. Okay, it's just that I can't see. My vision is worse than 90% of the population. In terms of my visual acuity score, I think I have 640 in my better eye and 660 in my worst eye. Okay, so what that means is what people can see at 60 feet, I can only see at 6 feet. Or 60 meters, 6 meters. It's dimensionless. It's not It's a ratio. It's not specific to a particular unit of measurement. Okay, so it's relative. Okay, so if you have 6 vision, it means you can see at 6 feet what 90% of the population can see at 6 feet. Okay, they use 90% as the as the benchmark, as it were. Okay, and to be OKU, your eyesight has to be worse than 618 in one or both eyes. Okay, so meaning with refraction, that means with glasses or contact lenses, it still can't be corrected to better than 618. So when I was first diagnosed as an OKU, it was 618 in one eye, and the better eye, and 624 in the worst eye. And then gradually now it's like 640, 660 in terms of the visual acuity score. And then I can see better if the background is black, so it goes down to 624, but then that's only for reading text and not in real life. I can't drive, for example, because I can't see signage until it's like really close and it's too late to make a decision whether I should turn or go straight or whatever. So I haven't been driving for more than a year now. In fact, I shouldn't be driving ever since I got my OKU card. But with special tinted glasses, I was able to drive. But now, even with the darkest tint to cut out the glare, I find it very difficult. And this condition also produces color blindness. So if I were to drive, the road and the divider, because one is asphalt, tar, which is faded into gray, and the other one's concrete, which is gray, I can't tell the difference. So many times I had to focus very hard in order not to knock the divider or crash into the divider. So I thought it was safer to stop driving altogether. So I go everywhere by public transport or taxis. So one of my sources of man in the streets things is by talking to strangers. So I talk to taxi drivers about life and cost of living, stuff like that. I also talk to people on the trains, on the MRT or LRT, even buses. Okay, so you'll find this strange guy, starting conversations, and it's been very, very interesting. few days ago, I met someone. I asked him for the time, actually, and then from his accent, I could tell he was not Malaysian. In fact, he grew up in London. He was a Punjabi guy, and it was 5 minutes to 5, and he showed me his watch. I said, "Sorry, I can't see. You have to tell me what time it is." And then we started talking. It turned out that he went to Royal Holloway College, University of London, and did a psychology degree. That was the place where I did my doctoral research in international business and management. So it's a small world. And then yesterday, someone offered me a seat, but I was getting off at the next station anyway. I got on the train at Bangsa LRT, and he offered me the seat at KL Central. And I said I was getting off at Pasar Seni, and I needed to stand by the door to get ready. And I could tell he was African. What do you call it? And I asked him if he was from Sudan, because I could also tell from his accent that he could possibly be Sudanese, and he was. He's actually a student of electrical engineering at Uni 10 in Kajang, Bangi area. And we started talking, and we both got off at Pasar Seni because he was going back to Kajang on the MRT. And then we walked together from the platform, the LRT platform, to the MRT platform, which is a few floors down. And he had never used the lift before. He never knew it existed. He normally uses the 2 escalators to go down. So I taught him, where the lift was, and we went down together and whatnot. Anyway, we had a good chat. And that's the kind of thing that makes life very interesting for me. I talk to strangers, and I find the opinion of the man in the street. And this Sudanese guy is very grateful to be able to study in Malaysia, because number one, he thinks the teaching staff at Uni 10 of excellent quality. Not only do they have Malaysian lecturers, Malay, Chinese, Indian, he also has Arab lecturers from the Middle East, and the course fees are a lot cheaper than studying in Europe or US or Australia. So he comes to Malaysia, and he's in the final year, so he'll be getting his degree soon. He likes Malaysia so much that he hopes he can get a job in Malaysia. I have no issues with foreigners getting jobs as long as they contribute, as long as they're in the tax-paying bracket, and they contribute to society. But even if you don't pay tax, if you're a low-skilled wage earner, that you don't reach the 30,000 a year threshold to pay tax, you also consume stuff, by having to have accommodation, you contribute to, your landlord and thus the economy. By having to buy food and other necessities, you pay indirectly a consumption tax, whether it's SSD, GST, or whatever you call it. And you also contribute by doing work, the dirty, dangerous, and what's the other 3Ds, dirty, dangerous, and whatever work that Malaysians refuse to do. So a lot of people misunderstood. I'm not advocating oust Anwar Ibrahim as the Prime Minister. I'm just wanting people to make their discontent known so that he knows where the boundary is, because so far he's been pushing the envelope way too far and upsetting a lot of people. Now, all politicians have good intentions, at least before elections. They put their intentions in their manifesto and in their campaign speeches. And like I said before, and I've said this many times, this whole Madani government came about because of the voters. Not enough Malay voters voted for Pakatan Harapan. I think almost all non-Malays voted for Pakatan Harapan. And because not enough Malays voted for Pakatan Harapan, he didn't get his outright majority to form a government, and he had to form a coalition government. And being magnanimous, he offered a coalition with Muhyiddin, okay, which is sleeping with the devil. Muhyiddin turned him down, for better or for worse. We'll never know, because that eventuality will never come to pass, or hasn't anyway. But he had to go into bed with UMNO. Well, ostensibly with Barisan Nasional, but I think MIC and MCA don't even have one MP. So effectively, de facto wise, it's going to bed with UMNO, meaning going to bed with Zahid. And I think a lot of people suspect his DNAA was a buying time measure, so that the Madani government can have the support of Barisan Nasional. This may or may not be true. It's speculation by a lot of commentators, and it's a factor. It's worth considering. You can do some if-then scenarios, whether if it's true, what are the consequences? If it's not true, what are the consequences? But it would appear on the surface that this is the case, okay? I've explained this in another video in detail. So by going into bed with UMNO, and UMNO, of course, they will junjung bosku to hell and beyond, but I don't think the supporters are genuine supporters. Maybe deep down in their hearts, they know he's guilty, but because he's doing it for their race, so it's okay. Because that's the mentality among many Malay Muslims. It's okay to cheat a non-Malay, but not a Malay, I don't subscribe to that, but that seems to be the mentality among many of them, and I abhor that mentality. The other thing is about doing things for the rakyat as opposed to doing things for the Malays. Now, the Malays are also the rakyat, so if you do something that benefits all rakyat, all the citizens, it will also benefit the Malays. But if you do something that benefits the Malays only, you will ostracize and marginalize the non-Malays, which why we are having this mess at the moment. Because to appease UMNO, or to win over the fence-sitters in Pakatan Nasional, or people who had voted for Perikatan Nasional, and want to entice them to vote for Pakatan Harapan next time round. Anwar seems to be forced to do things to appease the Malays only. Now, a lot of people see this as sliding to the dark side. Others take a more balanced view that under the difficult situation that he is under the difficult circumstances, he's trying his best. But we're providing some feedback that that's not the way, okay? That you can also please the Malays by doing things that please all the rakyat, okay? Because the Malays are rakyat too. If you just please the Malays at the expense of the others, you're playing a very dangerous game. And it will backfire. I mean, you can see from the public outcry and backlash and the comments that, people won't stand up for it, okay? So this video this message has been longer than I expected, so I'll end here, okay? More videos to come today. I've got like 3 or 4 more videos to edit. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.